Nova Station floated quietly in the deep blue of space, like a bright pearl resting on a black ocean. It was one of the few places where humans and aliens lived and worked together in complete peace. There were no soldiers here, no threats, no alarms. Only scientists, engineers, explorers, and dreamers shared the curved metallic halls of the station. In those halls, experiments were done every day, most small, some big, and a few, like today's experiment, completely new. Elias Ward, a young human engineer, stood in Laboratory Room 7 with a hopeful smile on his face. His brown hair was messy, and his work gloves had tiny scratches from hours of adjustments. But he didn't care about any of that. He felt proud. Today, for the first time, he would test a device he had spent almost 2 years building. The device stood in the center of the room like a small metal ring connected to glowing blue panels. Elias called it the Gravity Field Stabilizer, or GFS for short. Its purpose was simple: to help lighter species walk easily in human standard gravity areas. Some aliens had trouble moving around on the station because the gravity was too strong for their bodies. Elias wanted to fix that problem. If everything worked well today, the station could become safer and more comfortable for every species. Elias checked his notes one more time. Okay. Energy level stable. Field generator ready. His voice shook a bit, but he was excited, not scared. Behind him, the laboratory door opened with a soft hiss. A gentle, light-footed figure walked in. Azealia arrived with a warm smile. She was from the Lyrian species, small, feather-light, graceful creatures who looked almost like humans but had soft, glowing lines on their skin that changed color with emotion. Her skin glowed light pink today, which meant she was curious and cheerful. "Elias," she said with a musical tone. "I hope I'm not late." "Not at all," Elias said, standing straighter. "You're right on time. And thank you again for agreeing to test this." Azealia stepped forward, her step so light it looked as if she floated rather than walked. "I like helping with human inventions. You humans always build things with such heart." Her smile grew brighter. "And if this helps other Lyrian visitors, then I am happy to try it." Elias nodded with gratitude. "Okay. You just need to stand inside the ring. The device will create a soft gravity field around your legs, so you can walk like humans, without feeling too heavy. Number C." Azealia entered the ring and stood still. Her glowing skin shifted to a soft yellow, showing excitement. Elias took a deep breath. "All right. Activating gravity field stabilizer. In 3, 2, 1. He pressed a button. A soft hum filled the room, low and smooth like distant thunder. Blue light rose from the panels, creating a gentle mist of energy around Azealia's legs. Everything looked perfect for the first few seconds. Azealia's glow brightened. "Oh, I can feel it. It's warm. Like sunlight." Elias smiled proudly and checked the screen beside him. All the readings appeared normal. Field strength was stable. Energy flow constant. Gravity levels exactly where he predicted. But then, something strange flashed on the monitor. A quick spike. A sudden jump. And before Elias could react, Azealia gasped. "Elias, I can't move my legs." Elias froze. His heart dropped to his stomach. "What? Wait, don't worry. Don't move. I'll fix it." He rushed to the machine controls, fingers shaking as he tried to understand what went wrong. The numbers on the screen were different now. Something unnatural had pushed into the readings, an unexpected pulse of energy that didn't belong. Azealia stood inside the ring, perfectly balanced, but her legs refused to move. She wasn't falling or in pain. She simply couldn't lift her feet from the floor. Her glowing skin slowly shifted to soft blue Lyrian color for confusion. But the moment Elias turned toward her, expecting fear or anger, something completely unexpected happened. Azealia laughed. It wasn't a loud laugh. It was soft, musical, almost like the sound of wind chimes. Elias stared at her in shock. Azealia? Why are you laughing? You said you can't move your legs." She nodded while still smiling. "Yes, that is true. But Elias, this feeling is so strange." She lifted her hands slightly to keep her balance. "Lyrian bodies are very light. We never feel this heavy. It is new. And honestly, a little fun." Elias blinked. "Fun? Azealia, this wasn't supposed to happen at all. You should feel normal, not stuck." Azealia tilted her head, studying her legs as if they were someone else's. "Well, I am not hurt. And you said, this is your first test. First tests always behave strangely, right? That's not..." Elias tried to explain, but then sighed. "Yes, sometimes." Azealia giggled again. "Then do not worry. I trust you." Her confidence surprised him. Most testers would panic if a gravity device suddenly did something unexpected, but Azealia seemed to treat the whole incident like an interesting experience. Elias quickly deactivated the device. The blue light vanished, and the hum faded. Azelia's legs tingled for a moment, and then she took a careful step. "There, I can move again." She stretched one leg forward like she was learning to walk for the very first time. Elias let out a long breath of relief. Thank the stars. But his relief didn't last long. His eyes fell back to the monitor. The strange numbers were still there, recorded, saved, and waiting to be studied. Azealia noticed his serious expression. "Is something wrong?" Elias pointed at the data. This wasn't a normal malfunction. Something sent a pulse into the stabilizer. Something from outside the station. "Outside?" Azealia repeated. "Like, from space?" "Yes," Elias replied slowly, his mind racing. "And it was very strong. Strong enough to change gravity settings. That shouldn't be possible." Azealia stepped beside him and looked at the data on the screen. Her glowing skin shifted to deep, yellow curiosity. "It looks like a message." Elias blinked. "A message?" "Gravity pulses aren't used for communication. At least, humans don't use them." Azealia looked thoughtful. "Lyrians don't either. But some ancient species did. It is written in our old songs." That surprised him even more. "You think someone tried to send a signal through my stabilizer?" Azealia nodded. "I felt something. Not dangerous. More like a call. A touch." Elias swallowed. "If that's true, then something out there is trying to contact us. Or maybe it wasn't trying to contact us." "A Lyrian," Azealia finished softly. The room fell quiet. For the first time, her glow turned a gentle white, a sign of deep thought in Lyrian culture. Elias wondered what she was thinking, but she simply stood there with a calm expression, looking more curious than worried. Finally, she spoke. "Elias, I want to help you find where this signal came from." He nodded slowly. "Yes, we need to trace it. And study the stabilizer again. We can't ignore something like this." Azelia's glow warmed back to soft yellow. "Good. Then tomorrow, we start. And maybe the next time my legs stop working, I'll be ready for it." Elias stared at her in disbelief. "You really are the calmest person I've ever met." She laughed again. "And you are the most dramatic human I've ever met." Despite the strange event, the two smiled at each other. The accident didn't scare Azealia. Instead, it made her curious. It made her want to understand more. Elias felt the same. Something mysterious was happening. Something hidden, distant, and powerful. And whatever it was, this was only the beginning. The monitor continued to display the strange pulse pattern. It was waiting to be decoded, waiting for someone to listen. Elias felt a shiver of excitement. Azealia felt a spark of wonder. Neither of them knew it yet, but this strange moment, Azelia saying, "I can't move my legs," was the first step of a much bigger journey, one that would take them farther than they had ever imagined. The next morning, on Nova Station, began calmly, just like every other day. Soft light panels glowed above the curved metal halls, and people from different species walked through the corridors with relaxed smiles. But inside Laboratory Room 7, things were not calm at all. Elias Ward stood over his desk, staring at the strange data from yesterday. His eyes were tired, and his hair was even messier than before, but he didn't care. He had worked all night trying to understand the mysterious pulse. The door opened with a gentle hiss. Azelia entered, glowing soft yellow, the Lyrian color of cheerful curiosity. "Good morning, Elias," she said. "You look like you did not sleep." Elias turned around and gave a tired smile. "I didn't. This signal, it's not random. Look at this." He pointed at the monitor. Azelia stepped closer. "Did you find something new?" "Maybe," Elias said, rubbing his eyes. "I separated the pulse into different parts, and when I slowed it down, I noticed patterns, repeating shapes, like actual symbols." Azelia's glow brightened. "Symbols? Like writing?" "Yes, or maybe a kind of language." Azelia studied the screen quietly. The blue glow of the monitor reflected gently off her skin. "This looks familiar," she murmured. Elias raised an eyebrow. "Familiar? How?" "It feels like Lyrian frequency patterns," she said slowly. "Not our normal language, but something old. Something from our old songs and stories. My grandmother told me stories about ancient Lyrians who used gravity signals to talk." Elias felt a shiver run through him. "So you think this pulse was meant for a Lyrian?" Azelia nodded gently. "It makes sense. I was inside the stabilizer when the signal hit it. Maybe the machine amplified it." Elias stared at her in disbelief. "So, my invention became a giant antenna?" She laughed softly. "Accidentally," he sighed. "Well, I guess that explains the strange readings. But we still don't know where the signal came from." Azelia placed her hand lightly on the desk. "Then, we should find out." Elias nodded. "Yes, but we'll need the main scanner array for that. It can detect gravity changes deeper in space." Azelia's glow turned bright yellow. The scanner room. The scanner room was one of the quietest places on Nova Station. Large, curved screens covered the walls, showing star maps, space routes, and sensor readings. A soft hum filled the air. Elias logged into the system while Azelia stood beside him. "All right," Elias said. "I'm entering the pulse data. The scanner will search for matching patterns in nearby space sectors." The machine beeped, and lines of data streamed across the screens. Azelia leaned in closer. "Yes," Elias replied. "If the signal is strong enough, we might find the direction it came from." A moment later, one of the screens flashed. Azelia gasped softly. "There! That area lit up." Elias zoomed in. A red circle appeared around an empty region of space. "Sector 41B. But that area has nothing. No planets, no stations, no signals." Azelia shook her head. "Nothing that humans know." Elias sighed. "True." A faint green line blinked on the screen showing the exact path of the gravity pulse. "This is strange," Elias said. "It looks like the pulse didn't travel normally. It took a folded space route." Azelia's glow flickered blue Lyrian confusion. "Folded space?" "Yes. Some parts of space bend. Signals can jump through them. But humans can't control those folds yet." Azelia touched the screen gently. "But someone can." Elias swallowed. "Exactly. Understanding the message. Back in the lab, Elias and Azealia worked together for hours. Elias broke the pulse into smaller pieces, while Azealia tried to understand each pattern. Azealia closed her eyes sometimes, feeling the rhythm of the signals instead of reading them. Lyrians could sense gravitational patterns, like music. "This part," she said softly, "feels like a greeting." "A greeting?" Elias asked. "Yes. A gentle start. Like saying, 'We are here.'" Elias typed quickly. "Then what about this middle section?" Azealia listened again. "It feels old, like a memory." Her glow changed to white, the color of deep thought. "And this last part, it feels like an invitation." Elias stopped typing. "An invitation? To what?" Azealia opened her eyes. "To come closer. To find them." The room fell silent. Elias leaned back in his chair. "So, someone out there sent a peaceful message, a greeting, and an invitation, and it reached us by accident." Azealia shook her head gently. "Not us. Me." Elias felt his stomach tighten. "Why you?" Azealia looked at her own glowing hands. "I don't know, but something about that pulse, it felt warm. Like it recognized me. Unexpected curiosity. Instead of fear, Azealia felt excitement growing inside her. She paced around the lab slowly, her steps light as feathers. "Elias," she said, "what if this is from the lost Lyrian colony?" Elias blinked. "Lost colony? You've never mentioned that." Azealia stopped and looked at him with soft white glow. "Long ago, a group of Lyrians left our home world. They followed gravitational patterns that only they could sense. They vanished. Some say they never survived. Others say they found a new place." Elias leaned forward. "And this pulse matches Lyrian? Ancient songs?" Azealia nodded. "Yes. My grandmother said gravity can carry feelings. And this signal felt like hope." Elias felt his heart pound with a mix of excitement and fear. "Azealia, if this is the lost colony, then this discovery is huge. Bigger than anything humans or Lyrians have found in years." Azelia's yellow glow strengthened. "Then we must follow the signal." Elias froze. "Follow it? As in, go there?" She smiled gently. "Yes." Elias rubbed the back of his neck nervously. Azealia. Sector 41B is far, and folded space travel is unstable. We can't just take a normal ship through it." Azealia walked to the stabilizer. "But we can use this." Elias stared at her. "Use my stabilizer? For navigation?" "Yes," Azealia said. "It reacted to the signal once. We can adjust it, so it reacts again, like a guide." Elias looked at the machine thoughtfully. "If I redesign the gravity core, it might detect the same frequency from far away." Azealia smiled. Elias hesitated. This could be dangerous. Azealia stepped closer. "Elias, every discovery has risk. But this is peaceful. There is no harm. And I want to know the truth." Elias sighed. "You're braver than me." Azealia laughed softly. "No, you are brave too. You are willing to help." A decision made. They spent the rest of the day modifying the stabilizer. Elias rewired circuits, replaced sensors, and adjusted the gravity core. Azealia helped by reading the pulse patterns and telling him when the device reacted correctly. After hours of work, Elias stepped back. "It's done," he said. "The stabilizer is now a gravity signal detector. If the pulse appears again, it will show us the direction." Azealia touched the machine gently. "Thank you, Elias." He smiled. "We'll test it tomorrow." Azelia's glow turned soft yellow. "I can't wait." The hint of something more. That night, after Azealia left the lab, Elias remained behind. He looked at the machine, then at the strange data on the screen. He whispered to himself, "This is bigger than us. Bigger than anything." Suddenly, the stabilizer emitted a tiny pulse, a small flicker of blue light. Elias froze. The machine wasn't activated. He rushed to it. What was that? The device showed a reading. A new pulse. Short, soft, gentle. Azealia wasn't in the room. This pulse wasn't reacting to her. It was reacting on its own. Elias stared at the glowing screen. The lost colony was calling again. And this time, it felt closer. Elias barely slept that night. The small blue pulse from the stabilizer kept replaying in his mind. It wasn't strong like the first one, but it carried the same strange pattern, the same strange rhythm, the same feeling of a message. It felt as if something out there was whispering, trying gently to be heard. Morning arrived slowly on Nova Station. Soft lights turned on across the curved corridors, and the station's peaceful hum filled the halls. Elias walked quickly to the laboratory, still thinking about the second pulse. When he entered, the room was quiet, glowing with the faint blue of idle screens. A few minutes later, the door opened. Azealia walked in, glowing bright yellow with morning energy. "Good morning, Elias. You look tired again." Elias gave a nervous laugh. "You're right. Something happened last night." Azelia's glow softened to calm white as she stepped closer. "Did the message appear again?" "Yes," Elias said. "A small pulse. Not strong enough to freeze your legs this time, but strong enough to trigger the stabilizer." Azealia reached out and touched the machine gently. Her fingers felt a faint vibration. "It feels warm," she said, "as if it remembers the signal." Elias nodded. "Exactly. That's what scares me. Machines don't remember things like this. But this one, it reacted without anyone touching it." Azealia smiled softly. "Maybe it is learning." Elias blinked. "Machines don't learn on their own." Azealia laughed lightly. "But this machine is not normal now. It carries the pulse in its circuits, and the pulse carried feelings. Lyrians believe gravity can carry emotion. Maybe your device keeps the echo of the message." Elias wasn't sure if he believed that. But he knew Azealia wasn't simply guessing. She could sense gravity patterns in ways humans couldn't. Azealia closed her eyes. "Let's try reading it again. Maybe it left a new meaning." She placed both hands on the stabilizer, and Elias watched the machine's blue lines glow gently. The air felt lighter, as if the room was holding its breath. Azealia inhaled slowly, feeling the faint gravitational rhythm through the machine. Her glow turned soft blue, the Lyrian color of focus. "It feels different," she whispered. Gentle, like a quiet whisper. Elias stepped closer. "Can you understand it?" "I think so." She paused, letting the rhythm flow into her senses. "It feels like someone calling my name." Elias froze. "Your name? You mean Azealia? Exactly your name?" "Not exactly." She shook her head. "Lyrian names are feelings, not words. But this pulse feels like my meaning. Like someone is saying, 'The one who listens to light.' That is the meaning of my name." 10. Elias stared at her in disbelief. "So the message is for you." Azealia opened her eyes, glowing bright yellow now. "Yes." Decoding the new pulse. Elias loaded the pulse data on the screen. The new pattern appeared smaller, but more detailed. Wave shapes moved across the monitor, forming curves and loops. Azealia watched closely. The first part is greeting again. Stronger this time. Warmer. Elias analyzed the numbers. And look at this. The pulse frequency changed slightly. It's closer to Lyrian biological patterns. Azealia nodded. "Because it knows. I heard it." Elias swallowed. That's amazing. She closed her eyes again. There is more this time. Something new at the end. Elias zoomed in. It looks like coordinates. Azealia smiled. A place. Elias clicked a button. A map of the surrounding region of space appeared. The coordinates pointed into Sector 41B. The same empty region the first pulse came from. But now the map showed something surprising. Elias, Azealia whispered. Is that a folded pocket? Elias leaned closer. Yes, but it's not on any charts. That means it appeared recently. Azelia's glow turned white with deep thought. The lost Lyrians used gravity to hide themselves. This pocket might be their home. Elias felt a chill, not fear, but awe. Azealia. They might still be alive. She smiled softly, her glow warm and bright. I think so. Azelia's strange reaction. But then something unexpected happened again. As Azealia tried to sense the last part of the pulse, her legs weakened. She held onto the stabilizer, steady, but unable to move her feet. Elias panicked. Azealia! Azealia, instead of looking scared, simply laughed. A soft, gentle laugh that calmed the room. It is all right, Elias. This time, it was not the machine. It was the message. Elias stared. The message? Made your legs weak? Azealia nodded. Lyrian bodies react to gravity in emotional ways. When something is strong, emotionally strong, it can make our limbs react. Her smile widened. This message felt comforting, like a family calling me home. Elias watched her in surprise. Very happy, she said with glowing yellow warmth. This is the most beautiful feeling I have ever sensed. Elias exhaled slowly. Okay. Good. As long as you're safe. Azealia stepped away from the stabilizer as her legs regained full strength. See? All is well. Elias shook his head with a tired smile. You're unbelievable. Preparing for the journey. Over the next several hours, Elias and Azealia made a plan to trace the signal to its source. Elias studied the folded space map, while Azealia focused on understanding emotional patterns inside the pulse. Elias pointed at the screen. We can't reach the coordinates with normal space travel. The folded pocket is unstable. Ships that enter without guidance get lost. Azealia touched the stabilizer again. This can guide us. It reacts to the signal. It will show us the path. Elias nodded. Then we need to install it inside a small exploration vessel. Azelia's glow brightened. Can we leave soon? Elias hesitated. We need permission first. Azealia laughed. Humans always need permission. Elias grinned. Yes, because humans like surviving. She giggled. We Lyrians also like surviving. We just trust the stars a little more. Seeking approval. They went to Captain Rena, the station's calm and thoughtful leader. Her office was filled with plants from different planets, and she always welcomed visitors with a gentle smile. After listening to their explanation, Captain Rena leaned back in her chair. So, you believe this pulse is a peaceful invitation? Azealia nodded confidently. I can feel the emotions inside the signal. They are warm and gentle. Elias added, and scientifically, the folded pocket shows signs of stable gravity. Someone built it to hide or protect something. The captain considered their words. This could be an important discovery, but is it safe? Azealia answered softly, yes. Elias nodded. We'll use a small vessel. The stabilizer will guide us through folded space, and Azealia can sense the pulse, if it changes. Rena smiled. You two make a good team. Azealia glowed bright yellow. Rena finally stood. Very well. You have my permission. Prepare your ship. Azelia's private thought. After they left the office, Azealia walked quietly beside Elias. Her glow had turned soft white again. Elias noticed immediately. What are you thinking, Azealia? She looked up at him with calm eyes. Elias, if the lost Lyrians are there, what if they want me to stay? Elias felt a sudden tightness in his chest. Stay? You mean, with them? Azealia nodded gently. Maybe they sent the message because they want one of their own to return. Elias forced a smile. And what do you want? Azealia stopped walking. Her glow warmed into bright yellow, the Lyrian color for truth. Elias felt relief wash over him. She smiled. I have a home here too, Elias. The journey begins. By evening, the exploration vessel was ready. The stabilizer was installed near the navigation seat. Glowing, soft blue. Azealia sat beside it, eyes full of excitement. Elias checked the controls. Everything looks good. Are you ready? Azealia nodded with glowing yellow joy. Yes. Let the stars guide us. Elias pressed the launch button. The ship detached from the station and drifted into the open space. The stabilizer vibrated gently. Azealia closed her eyes and whispered, They're calling again. Elias looked out into the endless darkness ahead. Azealia smiled with glowing white calmness. The lost colony is waiting. The next morning arrived slowly, like a soft light trying to push away a long night. Aiden opened his eyes, and for a moment, he forgot where he was. It was only when he saw the glowing ceiling, shaped with soft curves instead of hard corners, that he remembered he was inside Zara's spacecraft. The air smelled clean, almost sweet, and the silence was deeper than anything on Earth. Zara was standing near the wall, watching a floating hologram. Her legs were still wrapped in the gentle healing bands, but she stood with ease. When she turned and saw Aiden awake, her face lit up with a bright smile. You slept well, she said softly. Aiden sat up, still amazed at everything around him. Yeah. Surprisingly well, he replied. How are your legs? Can you move them properly now? She nodded proudly. Much better. Almost perfect. Your help yesterday was important. I am grateful. Aiden felt a small warmth in his chest. Helping her had been scary, confusing, and overwhelming, but also strangely meaningful. He didn't know how or why, but he felt connected to her, like they had known each other far longer than a single night. Zara waved her hand, and the hologram disappeared. Today, I will take you to the Star Garden, she announced, her eyes bright with excitement. Aiden blinked. Star Garden? What's that? It is the heart of my ship, Zara explained. A place where living plants from many planets grow together. It helps the ship breathe and gives me peace. Aiden stood up. Well, that sounds like something I should see. Zara guided him through a curved hallway. As they walked, Aiden noticed how the ship seemed almost alive, as if the walls responded to Zara's presence. The lights brightened softly when she approached, and faint energy lines followed her steps. The door opened with a gentle sound, and Aiden stopped in awe. The Star Garden looked nothing like a normal room. It was a vast dome filled with glowing plants. Some floated in the air, like living lanterns. Others grew in spiral shapes, shifting colors with every breath. The whole garden pulsed like a living heart. Aiden whispered, This is beautiful. Zara stepped inside with pride. It is my sanctuary. When I travel alone, this place keeps my mind calm. Aiden walked closer to a plant that looked like a long ribbon of light. Are these all from your planet? Some, she replied. But many are collected from places I visited before reaching Earth. He gently touched the glowing ribbon. It vibrated softly like a string of music. Aiden smiled. He never imagined alien life could feel so peaceful, so gentle. Zara watched him quietly, a soft expression in her eyes. For her, Aiden was strange and fascinating. His reactions were honest, simple, and warm, very different from the cold curiosity she expected from humans. After a moment, she said, Aiden, last night, I sensed something new. When I lost control of my legs, you helped me with calm and patience. My reaction surprised you. I know that. Aiden turned toward her, remembering her sudden connection to him. The soft pulse of light from her hands, the way her voice changed, the deep emotion she expressed. Yeah, I wasn't expecting any of it, he admitted. But I'm not scared. Just confused. Zara walked closer to him. My species shares emotional energy when we feel gratitude, trust, or closeness. It is not harmful. But for a human, it might feel strange. Aiden nodded. It did. But it also felt good. Kind of warm. Zara looked relieved. Then I did not overwhelm you. Aiden shook his head. No, it was fine. I just didn't understand what was happening. She smiled again, that same gentle, glowing smile that made her look less like an alien explorer and more like a friend. Aiden walked to a small floating bench made from transparent material and sat down. So, what happens now? You fixed your legs. Your ship works. You can fly again. Will you leave? Zara paused, and the garden grew quiet. She walked toward him slowly. I came to study humans. I expected confusion, suspicion, maybe even danger. But you helped me without fear. You stayed with me even when you did not understand. Aiden shrugged lightly. Well, you needed help. Anyone would have done the same. Zara shook her head. Not anyone. Aiden felt a strange weight lift from his chest. Maybe she wasn't ready to leave. Maybe this wasn't the end. Zara sat beside him, not too close, but close enough that he could feel the soft warmth radiating from her skin. Her voice softened. Before I decide anything, I want to show you something important. She placed her hand near the center of the garden. A faint hum filled the dome, and a large crystal rose from the floor, slowly opening like a blooming flower. Inside it, a hologram shaped into a map of stars. This, Zara said, is the path I traveled before reaching Earth. And this, she pointed at a glowing arc, is the path I plan to take after leaving. Aiden swallowed. The arc led far away, deeper into unknown space. Zara continued. But your world, your people, and you changed my understanding. Humans are unpredictable, emotional, imperfect, yet brave, helpful, and full of curious energy. I did not expect that. Aiden scratched the back of his head, embarrassed. We're not always that nice. Zara looked at him directly. But you were. Silence settled between them, peaceful and warm. Then Zara made a small gesture, and the star map expanded, showing a new, glowing path branching near Earth. Aiden leaned in. What's that? A new route, Zara said softly. Aiden's heart thumped. You want to come back? Yes, she said, her voice steady. If you want me to. Aiden let out a slow breath. His mind raced. He had only met Zara yesterday, but it felt like they shared something rare, something he couldn't explain, but didn't want to lose. I'd like that, he said quietly. Zara's eyes shimmered with light, a sign of deep emotion. She stood up and walked to a glowing pool in the garden. From it, she lifted a small crystalline seed. This is for you, she said, offering it to Aiden. A piece of my star garden. It will glow whenever my ship is near Earth. It will also help me sense your emotional state from far away. Aiden took the seed carefully. It felt warm, like a tiny living star. Thank you, he whispered. This is amazing. Zara stepped back. Now I must prepare for departure. My species expects updates. They want to know what I found here. Aiden's smile faded a little. Will they be okay with you coming back? Zara thought for a moment. If I tell them the truth that humans are worth understanding, they will listen. My people respect knowledge more than fear. Aiden nodded slowly. So this isn't goodbye. Zara shook her head. She guided him back through the hallway. As they stood near the exit door, Zara placed her hand lightly over Aiden's. A faint pulse of warm light passed between them, her species' way of saying farewell with trust, not sadness. Take care of my gift, she said, and take care of yourself. Aiden held the glowing seed close. I will. And come back soon, okay? Zara gave her soft, bright smile. I promise. The door opened, and Aiden walked out onto the quiet field where the ship had landed. He turned around just in time to see the ship rise slowly. The star garden light glowed through its surface like a heartbeat. With a gentle hum, the ship lifted into the sky, sparkling as it passed through the clouds. Aiden stood there for a long moment, holding the starseed and watching the sky. He whispered to himself, "She'll be back. She'll be back." And somewhere beyond the clouds, Zara carried the same hope, a connection formed between two different worlds, ready to grow again.